Hi, everyone, and welcome to the latest in the series of the Bullshit Climate Terms monologue. Today, the term we are talking about, the bullshit term we are covering is net zero. Now, net zero is one of those things that has gotten into all our daily lexicon, government, NGOs, companies, corporations, and even individuals have jumped onto this particular bullshit term. Now, for those who are not very steeped in science, let me just explain energy or energy cycles simply. Every process, every process on Earth requires energy. My breathing requires energy. Even when I eat food, the process of digesting that food to give my body energy requires energy. That's why when someone's at a point of extreme starvation, close to death, you don't give him food to eat. You give him an intravenous drip. You feed him by drip first, and then he'll get enough energy to actually open his mouth, chew food, and his digestive system will have the energy to actually digest food and nourish his body. Even as I am talking now, I am consuming energy. I'm producing carbon dioxide. Um, and I wouldn't be able to talk if I hadn't eaten enough to be strong enough, etc. I'm also producing acoustic energy, and transforming my various potential energies into acoustic energy, into movements by various muscles as I speak to you. So the suggestion that shows you that me as an individual person, as an individual organism, I cannot be net zero. I cannot function without consuming oxygen, carbohydrates, etc., and producing emissions. So when you see a company saying we are aiming to be net zero by 2050, that's bullshit. When you see a country setting net zero targets by 2030, 2050, that's bullshit. When the UN tells you we are aiming to be net zero targets by whatever year, that's bullshit. Nothing functions like that. The oxidation, even things at rest, there's oxidation going on, there's decay and renewal going on. That's why we are born, we grow, we age, and we die. We are part of the cycle, the nutrient cycle, the carbon cycle. So, what is this net zero we are being told about? Net zero that we are told about by all these people around us is the ludicrous idea that I can achieve net zero. Let's say I'm an industry, I'm manufacturing clothes. If I claim to be to want to have a net zero target by a certain year, it means by a certain year I will have managed to oppress and deny people growth opportunities and manufacturing opportunities in another country or in another place equivalent to what I'm using. So if we are talking in terms of individuals, if I'm to grow by 5 centimeters net zero growth, it means I have to suppress somebody's growth and cost someone 5 centimeters of growth. If I'm to make $5 million of growth, I have to oppress someone and deny them $5 million worth of growth. If I'm to, in that industry, you see, they've used maybe, I don't know, 500 megawatts of electricity to manufacture clothes and grow by 20% in 1 year. They need to deny somebody somewhere 500 megawatts of electricity in order for their growth to be presented to the public as net zero. So net zero by definition is evil. If anybody tells you anything about net zero, they can only be one of two things: either irretrievably stupid or unspeakably evil. Now, I want you to go back and look at the people talking about net zero: corporations, governments, individuals, conservation organizations, and international bodies like the UN. And remember those two words: they're either irretrievably stupid or unspeakably evil, because everyone has to consume oxygen, water, energy, and everything. You and I can never be net zero. A company can never be net zero. It is like saying, if I'm to have enough to eat for lunch, I have to work hard to make sure I take away the equivalent food from somebody else somewhere else. And this is the biggest problem we have globally with the environmental conservation movement. It normalizes the absurd, it normalizes the straight up evil, it normalizes the ludicrous. Net zero is bullshit. It's only incredibly stupid or unspeakably evil. So consume resources responsibly, do not waste, reduce pollution, reduce consumption, but do not ever subscribe or listen to anyone talking about that bullshit called net zero. That is something very important to remember. We must learn to grow. The highest level of civilization is growing without taking away from someone else. Net zero means you have to take away from someone else the exact same amount that you are consuming, or you have to deny to someone else the exact amount that you are consuming. And the fact that it has been touted as something actually normal in the world today is a testament to the prostitution of the scientists who back up these claims and the evil of the people who want to use them to achieve their aims.